Baroness von Saul in.
There's a woman in the hall, milady, who says she must see you. She won't give a name, but it seems rather urgent. She says she knew Mr. Lovett.
A friend of poor Lionel's.
She has a little girl with her, milady.
Let's go away, Mummy.
The Baroness will see you. What name shall I say?
Blake. Mrs. Lorna Blake.
Mrs. Lorna Blake, milady.
Baroness von Saul. But of course, I recognized it from the snapshot Lionel had of you. He carried it with him everywhere. How good of you to see me.
Sit down, please.
Thank you. This is my little girl. Come and shake hands, Mollikins. I'm afraid we're a little bit shy.
You should be frightened of me? No. So, you knew poor Lionel?
Yes, and I remember him saying so often that you were the most golden-hearted woman he'd ever known. And when I read about his death, coming just at the crisis of poor little Jay's illness...
Jay?
My younger daughter, Molly's baby sister. We very nearly lost her, didn't we, Molly? Oh, you must forgive me giving way like this, but night after night I've been up with my little girl for 3 whole weeks, and...
Please, I understand.
And the doctor's bills, such expensive treatment. Oh, dear. To come here and worry you with my troubles, but when a child's very life is at stake.
Yeah, God, our pride must match our pockets if we have got children. And your husband? You are alone in the world?
He died soon after Jay was born.
Don't, Mummy. Don't cry.
It was right you come to me. These bills. You give me the addresses, I'll send them the money.
What have I done? What have I done? You're so good and kind. How could I treat you like this? I've lied to you. My name isn't Blake. It's Inglefield. Lorna Inglefield. Look, this is my marriage certificate. My husband isn't dead. He left me. Abandoned me with his 2 little children.
But, Mummy!
How could he do it? What was Neil made of to turn aside from a child like this? That's why we've used the name of Blake. To forget your cruel father, haven't we, my pet? But it was wrong of me. I've been too proud, too foolish and proud to tell anyone this before. But you're so different. You understand. If only I could get to Liverpool tonight. Neil sailing for America in the morning. If only I had the bare fare even. His parents are bound to see him off. Bound to. You see, they were devoted to Neil. From the start, they would never acknowledge me. They wrecked our marriage. But if they could see Molly now, just once, surely they must soften. Surely they would do something for her, if not for me.
So, you go to Liverpool. Maybe everything comes out all right.
Oh, Baroness. All in the gutters are filled with butter, and I shall ruin my hands. Since when could we afford taxis? Since this afternoon.
Mummy!
Coming, darling.
You brought it off?
Mm-hmm.
How much?
Shh, not in front of.
Mummy!
Darling, run up and tell Jay Mum is just coming. Tell you all about it. wouldn't give me the money at first. She asked to see the doctor's bills.
Nasty. Whatever did you do?
It's funny, I can't remember much about it. I found myself saying I wasn't Mrs. Blake, but Mrs. Neil Inglefield.
Neil Inglefield? You used his name. Why?
Reasons. Besides, I had a ready-made marriage certificate, hadn't I? Anyhow, something came over me. Suddenly, I felt inspired.
You?
Well, here's the money. You know, I think I got a sort of gift for it. I've worked it out. I could make 2,000 a year if I tried. Think how lovely it would be for the children.
Yes, that's what I am thinking. Lovely to have your mother doing time.
Get back into bed, you'll be ill again. I haven't been ill. A cold isn't being ill. When's Mummy coming up? She said she'd tell me a story when she came back. Where have you been? Where did Mummy take you? Visiting. Like that? Who was it you visited? Oh, just a lady. What lady? Do I know her? What for? Did you get tea there? No, we got sweets. Oh, leave me alone.
My brolly was raining. That's right, darling. Change into something pretty. And how's my little gollywog? Have you been good and stayed quietly in bed all day?
Oh, yes, Mummy. Where have you been? Molly won't tell me. What about the story you promised me?
Story? You know Mummy's no good at stories.
You are. You know you are. You're the bestest storyteller in the world. Go on. I've been waiting for hours and hours and hours.
Well, now, let me see.
Mummy.
I shall have to think very hard.
Mummy.
Yes, darling?
Aren't we going?
Going? Where, dear?
To Liverpool. You said we were, aren't we?
Oh, Liverpool. No, not this time, Ted.
Go on with the story.
Well, once upon a time, there was a little girl. She was the prettiest little girl in the whole world. She hadn't got a daddy, and her mummy was, oh, so poor. So you see, having been left without a penny in the world, what else can I do? If only I could get to the south of France. If only I could get to Nice in time to prevent this marriage. At least I could save Neil from committing bigamy. And I can only tell you, Mrs. Jones-Williams, that as Jay and I sat up there at the back of the gallery, and naturally we can only afford the gallery. No, this isn't Jay, this is Molly. You don't care for concerts, do you, darling? When your wonderful little boy played the Devil's Trim, tears poured down our cheeks. Only I could get to Brussels. If only I could catch Neil at Cherbourg. Thank the lady, Molly. Say thank you, Molly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much indeed.
How very kind you've been, Mrs. Maddox. Oh, what a beautiful child your Marigold is.
Your little girl has such pretty hair. It's so quaint.
And what lovely toys. I'm afraid my little bunnies have to make do with homemade things.
Marigold, darling, you have so many nice things. Supposing you give your music box to this poor little girl here.
Oh, no, please. Mummy gives me lots of nice toys.
Oh, but not lovely ones like these, darling.
Come on, Marigold. Give your music box to the little girl.
I want it. Oh, no, really.
Nonsense. Marigold must learn to be unselfish. Little rich girls must learn to be kind to little poor girls, Marigold. Come on. Give it to the little girl. Here, little girl. Marigold's got a present for you.
Please, please. I don't want it. Please, Mummy.
Jay, darling, if Marigold is so generous.
Marigold wants to give it to you, little girl.
Please not.
Marigold.
Take it, then.
How sweet. Now, Jay, darling, give Marigold a nice kiss. Oh, please allow me. Do let me help you.
Miss Gardner.
The Honourable Mrs. Maddox has been so very kind. You were saying?
Mrs. Inglefield's in trouble and she must get to Glasgow because her husband's run away and is going to America. If she doesn't get the midnight train with her little girl...
I see.
You do think we should help her, don't you?
I think it's a very good idea that we give this Mrs. Englefield her fare to Glasgow. But I'm sure she has a great deal to do. The best thing is for me to buy the tickets, meet them at the station, and put them on the train.
Oh, but this is too good.
I never meant to give all this trouble. But it's no trouble at all. I'll get the tickets and meet you at the barrier. May I? How very, very kind.
Hadn't you better give this game up? 2 or 3 bungles like this, and you'll have the police after us.
I don't bungle. Have any of the people I visited been a mistake? There's that wretched governor's coming in, interfering old hag. But I'll get my own back. You know, my dear Susan, what kind hearts most people have, if only you can get at them and handle them the right way. But you must have faith from the very start. Faith to move mountains.
Yes, but you can't keep moving houses. It isn't fair on the children.
But don't you understand? It's for them I'm doing it. A good mother must sacrifice everything for her children. And then when they're grown up, I'll be able to get...
You'll never give this game up now, Lorna Blake. You know, the trouble with you is you're an artist.
Yes.
Jay, are you awake? Yes. Shall I come into bed with you? Yes, please. Molly, are we beggars? I think so. Was it awful today? Horrible. Mummy cried. She always does. They made me kiss a horrid little girl. I always make my kisses wet. Molly, are we Blake or Ingerfield? I don't know. Jay, we're going away tomorrow. Are we? Isn't it wrong to take money and things? Mummy says not if it's for other people. Don't cry. I'll always look after you. It's not that. It's my hair. It's so long it will keep getting in my mouth. It's all right. Mum will have it cut for you. She said it's a godsend.
Here is the young lady. Jay, take your mother and give her some tea. Excuse me.
Yes, certainly. Well, darling, have you packed your things?
Yes. What was the head saying about me?
She said, I don't think we've taught Jay much, but she certainly taught us something.
Oh, Mummy, this is Daphne and Chloe Carberry, my friends.
How'd you do?
I hope you were uplifted by the speeches, Mrs. Blake. Play the game, girls. Play the game.
Poor Toby. Mummy, this is Toby, their cousin.
Don't stand there looking daft. Get another 2 cups. 5 cups this time.
I'll help.
Five cups of tea, please.
Can I have some more plates?
And 2 cups of tea.
5 cups of tea, please. Cigarette. Please don't bother, please don't bother. 5 cups of tea, please. Thanks.
Two for milk, one large sugar. That's okay.
3, please. 3 cups.
What are you going to do now that you're an old girl?
Get a job, I suppose.
I see that there's a job going to our place.
Is there?
5 cups, please. We're shipwrights on Southampton Water.
Sounds rather fun.
5 cups. And I'll tell you what. You could live with Daffy and Chloe at my aunt's house in the New Forest. Shall I speak to my dad?
What is the hold-up? Mabel, old horse, 5 cups of tea. What's this you two are arranging?
I just wonder whether Jay would like a job at my father's office, Mrs. Blake.
Oh, it's very kind of you, Toby, but I have other plans for her, I'm afraid.
Mummy, what are the plans you've got for me?
Don't let's talk about plans now, darling. Let's just enjoy being together again.
Tickets, please. These are third-class tickets, ma'am.
Oh, yes, of course. How stupid of me. These booking office windows are so confusing. I'd better pay you the difference, hadn't I?
Jay. Hello, Molly. Susan.
Your trunk's come. I've taken it upstairs.
What have you got in it? New? Pretty.
Hello, Susan. Oh, I fixed that address for you. 14 George Street. Polton's paper shop. Oh.
Jasmine. My flowers. From Mummy?
No.
Susan.
No.
Oh, you.
Now then, stop that slopping and get ready for your suppers.
Shouldn't I be helping?
Yes.
Oh, not her first night at home.
Well, spoiled if you ask me.
But we're not asking you. It's so lovely to be home again. Let's celebrate somehow.
Not tonight, my pet. Play something else on the piano.
Shall I? What would you like?
Oh, anything. I like all your pieces.
She's got the Who's Who out.
Oh, yes, I saw it. Today I fixed a phony address for letters. Look. Victim, eh? Miss Shirley Dennison, woman of today. Sucker of tomorrow.
To be
And soon shall my heart from its slumber
That was lovely.
Where's Mummy? Oh, how typical.
Aren't you good?
Oh, no, Molly, please let me stay.
I've got to sort out my script.
Oh, please, I've got nothing to do like...
Jane, darling, Mummy's going out. Are you coming with her or not?
What did you say, Mummy?
I'm going out, darling. Are you coming?
What have you got those things on for? Why are you wearing that coat?
Mummy's going visiting, of course.
But you're not still...
Yes, darling, I am. Won't you come with me? It'll be just like old times.
No. I can't. I'm grown up now.
I didn't mean to upset you, you know that. I love you. But life hasn't been too easy for me, my pet. But I've always known that my children would make everything worthwhile. You don't know how lonely it's been with you away at school, and how I've looked forward to the day when you'd come back home for good. And I've always hoped that somehow you'd perhaps help me in my work. But I see now that I'm wrong. You must make your own life without me.
Don't say any more, Mummy, please. I know you love me, and I love you. I'll come with you. Only don't say any more, please.
You will? Darling, that's sweet of you. I knew you would. Well, come along or we'll be late.
She's not going with you.
It's all right, Molly, I don't mind.
There. You're not going. How could you, Mother?
Could? Could what? What do you mean?
It's humiliating at her age. It's revolting.
You silly little thing. Now that Jay's back, you're jealous because she likes going with me, because...
How beastly. But I don't care. You're not taking Jay visiting with you. You're never going to take her with you again.
You don't know what you're saying. You don't know the law. I can do what I like with my own child.
I know you can't. I know the law well enough to know that if they knew what you were doing with Jay, they'd take her away from you and never let you see her again.
Very well. If Molly doesn't like you going with me, I'll go by myself. I'd be the last to want to cause any unhappiness. Fancy trying that on.
Inglefield is your married name?
Yes. My husband was Neil Inglefield. I married him when...
Neil Inglefield?
Yes, an old Norfolk family. I married him very young. I was only 17, and...
Norfolk, you said?
Yes. Funnily enough, if you care to see it, I think... Yes, I've actually got my marriage certificate with me.
Do go on.
Well, the sun is a bit I wonder if you'd mind if I...
I'm so sorry. Won't you smoke?
No, thank you. I'm afraid I haven't many vices.
Oh, haven't you? I seem to have such a lot.
Well, as I was saying, my marriage turned out very unhappily. Soon after my baby girl was born, my husband deserted me. And for 18 years, he left me to bring up my child without contributing a penny.
And you didn't divorce him?
That was my mistake. If only I'd realized what Neil had in store for me.
Do you mean your husband came back to you?
Yes, he came back, but only to take my child away from me. And eventually he succeeded. And now they've both gone. I don't know where.
But how dreadful.
He said he could do what he liked with his own child. He said it was the law. But I know the law well enough to know that if they'd found out what he'd done, they'd take her away from him and never let him see her again.
Then why don't you see that they do find out? Seems a very good idea.
That's what I thought. But I must have evidence. If only I had the means to employ a private detective, I could at least find out where they are.
I don't keep much money in the house, but if this would help for the moment...
Miss Denison, I didn't come here to ask for money, but only for your advice. But since you're so very, very kind...
Mrs. Inglefield, I'd rather like to keep in touch with you.
Oh, yes, indeed. Might I leave my address? It's number 14 George Street.
Perhaps you'll give it to my secretary.
Words are poor things, Miss Denison. But if ever...
Goodbye. Oh, Catherine, I've got those notes for my lecture. When you've got rid of that amiable lady, get on to Mr. Inglefield's home and find out when he's expected back in England. Very well.
Don't you want to know how I got on?
Well, how much?
£3.
Slipping.
That's what you think. Jay, Molly, Mummy's home. And what's more, in a few days' time, I think you'll start calling at number 14 George Street. I think you'll find a cheque there.
You stick to the begging letter line.
Well, I can go on with that too, can't I? What's the matter with you? Where are the children?
Children?
Where are they?
Jay's gone, Mother.
Gone? Gone where?
She's left the house.
What is this?
I've told you, Jay's gone away.
Where?
To the Carberries at Southampton.
What?
She's taking a job there and she's not coming back.
Not coming back? Are you mad? I tell you she is coming back tomorrow. I'll put a call through at once to your precious Carberries.
Don't make a scene with them. It won't do you any good or Jay.
I want trunk inquiries, please.
Don't you see, Mummy? It isn't good for Jay to be here. She's not an ordinary person and she'll get worse and worse, more and more dependent on you. She'll never grow up into a normal woman. You're bad for her.
You little fool. What do you know about good and bad, and what do you really know about Jay? If you think you can come between us, you're mistaken. I tell you she needs me, and I'm going to get her back, even if...
Trunk inquiries?
Trunk inquiries? I want you to find me...
If you bring her back here, I shall go straight to the police.
How dare you interfere like this? You think you've been very clever, don't you? But I'll show you I can get Jay back any time I like, simply by raising my little finger. All right. Let her stay. But if anything happens to her, remember... Molly, darling, I'm so dreadfully sorry. I love you, darling. Never think that I don't.
We'll be late.
What's the hurry?
Come along.
much are they?
6pence each, miss.
There's one for you, and one for you.
Come along, you meanies. Pay up. You don't expect it when you're married.
When?
No defeatism, please. Only 3 bob from you, Mary. You paid 2 last week.
So I did.
30?
Wait till Friday, ducks. I'm broke.
This is Friday.
I mean next Friday.
Come off it.
Late as usual. Where have you been?
Hair perm or boyfriend? I've had a heavenly time.
Well, I hate to bring you back to earth, but you owe me 5 shillings.
Oh. I know she's bought Kim a private present. You little... I want to pay my share in the joint present, too. Darling, you've got a heart of gold.
And a purse, so it seems.
Now, girls, hush, 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 and back to work. It's 2:10.
Yes, Miss Breeze. Yes, Miss Breeze.
I want 5 shillings from you, Miss Breeze.
Oh, do you?
Here is Kim now.
Jay, the gaffer wants you.
Me? Oh, what have I done now?
Well, you're not the best of timekeepers, Miss Blake.
I hope you'll be very happy, Kim.
It isn't. Oh, but there's nothing I wanted more.
Come in. Oh, come in, Jay. Come on, don't be shy. Well, there's one thing about you, you're always cheerful. What I wanted to say was, I take it you're happy here?
Oh, yes.
Good, because you're doing well. Though you're not always the best of timekeepers, if I may say so. Now, since Kim's leaving us, it might be a good idea if you report to my son in her place, eh? No harm in our keeping an eye on you since you're a friend of the family. All right? A bit early to step you up, but we must see how it works. Make it work. Eh? Good.
Oh, hello. Come and sit down.
No, Toby, you sit. Please do.
Thank you. Now, Miss Blake, what can I do for you?
Your father says I'm to work for you.
Does he? Good. That suits me.
But it's not right. You should have chosen one of the senior girls.
As a matter of fact, I wasn't asked. But if I had been...
Oh, Toby. I don't want to get on through charity. I want to make my own way in the world.
You're doing so. Jay, why didn't you stay on at my aunt's house? Weren't you happy living with Daffy and Chloe?
No.
So you prefer that dreary bunch at the boarding house, do you?
I don't think they're dreary. I find them rather brave. They don't get much fun out of life.
I see. You're the girl with the mission. You bring happiness to others. Is that the idea?
Yes.
You know, I bet you have made them happier since you went there.
Perhaps I have. I don't know. Besides...
Besides what?
At your aunt's house, they all gave the whole time. And I had nothing to give back.
You are a funny girl. Shouldn't the haves give to the haven'ts?
Yes, of course, but what I'd like is to be one of the givers. You think that's strange. Perhaps even conceited. But it's how I am.
I like you as you are. Please don't ever change, will you? What's the matter?
Nothing.
Alfred, don't say I find you in a state of dubiety.
Is this letter, Sir Helmer? I think perhaps you ought to see it. It's a begging letter, but it's got a sort of emanation.
Oh. How much does this emanation require, and for what purpose?
The specific amount is left to us.
Looks like a woman. Dear Sir Helmer Barnett, if I cannot get some help by Friday next, you will read in the papers of just another commonplace tragedy forced on a lonely and desperate woman. It is a woman. But tell me, Alfred, is this letter genuine or not?
Oh, not. Not ungenuine, I mean.
Oh, tell me the gist.
Well, it's very nearly all gist. This Mrs. Blake met a woman in the hall of the South Kensington Museum tapestry department. She ordered a set of embroidered pettipoint coverings for chairs from her to be sent to an address in Carlisle.
Who ordered it from whom?
She did. The woman. From her.
She did, the woman. Go on.
She trusted her, bought the materials at considerable outlay which she could ill afford.
Did the work, sent it to Carlisle, never heard another word, and is now on her beam ends. A child in arms could have detected the swindle.
Of course, yes. Yes, I'll write a polite refusal.
You'll do nothing of the sort. But you really must acquire some human kindliness, Alfred. Give me my checkbook. How much do you think?
She's got to go to Carlisle. £10 might cover it.
£10? No, you're not going about this the right way at all, Alfred.
No, Sir Helmer.
We can't give this woman money. She'd be mortified. What she needs is practical help.
How about a private...
Private detective, on the tip of my tongue. That's it.
Of course, they generally want a large cash deposit.
Money again. Why will you keep sounding such a sordid note? My old friend Bob Henshaw, Chief Constable of Belcastle, right in the area.
And that is what I was going to suggest. It'll cost nothing.
It isn't the cost, Alfred. Now, we'd better tell this poor woman what we propose first. Draft me a reply to her. I say. Oh, this is rather nicely expressed. You with that rare gift of imagination, like a stained glass window through which the rich light falls. I can just picture her. A poor little snivelling wisp of a creature, in rusty black with pricked fingers. And then, as she reads our message of hope.
Well, you've done it this time. If his nibs writes to that chief constable, you are on the soup. When did you sign it?
Blake.
Well, when do we move?
We don't move.
What then?
I'm going down to see him, of course.
Huh?
She's in the hall.
Who?
That Mrs. Blake.
Who in heaven's name?
Tapestry room.
Tapestry?
Carlisle, Pettipoint.
What?
She isn't quite what we imagined.
Impertinence. I don't care what she's like. Alfred, will you please tell her?
Sir Helmer, please. You do understand, don't you? I simply had to come. I couldn't rest till I'd put things right. Sir Helmer, I never wrote that letter. It's dreadful to think of. A begging letter. A letter as good as asking for money. Such a journey. It's all that woman. She's done it before and she'll do it again unless I... Why is life so difficult? I must explain this dreadful, dreadful mistake. Please, may I?
Alfred, I shan't want the car yet.
Very good, Sir Helmer.
Sit down. Now, Mrs. Blake.
First of all, may I see the letter you received?
The letter? Yes, yes, of course. So, excuse me. Alfred?
Yes, Sir Helmer?
Bring the letter Mrs. Blake wrote.
I
didn't write.
Yes, Sir Helmer.
And send in some sherry and biscuits.
Oh, please. The same lies, the same brazen request for money at the end, and even imitating my handwriting. Oh. At any rate, that can do no more harm.
Yes, but the woman who wrote this letter, this governess...
Miss Gardner. Oh, poor Gardy.
Well, she's committed forgery. You should hand her over to the police.
Oh, I couldn't do that. My little girl, she's devoted to Gardy.
Little girl?
My Molly.
Oh, yes, of course. How stupid of me. You wouldn't need a governess if... You've just one child?
Just the one.
Excuse me. Alfred, I shan't want the car until this afternoon, and Mrs. Blake will be staying to lunch.
You see, the awful thing is, well, we are rather hard up, and Gardy really thinks she's helping us.
I want you to promise me to send this Miss Gardner away, right out of your life, to South America, for instance.
Oh, Sir Helmer, apart from my feelings, the fare.
The fare? Well, I'll pay the fare.
Sir Helmer.
Oh, forgive my crudeness, Mrs. Blake. Won't you let me do just that for you? Please. Excuse me. Alfred, I shan't want the car at all today, except to take Mrs. Blake to the station later.
Very good, Sir Helmer.
Anything for Blake?
Inglefield? Got a cold?
No, why?
Police. They followed me all the way from the shop. Look. I knew it. You're on to your ma at last.
Pull yourself together, Susan. Answer the door and bring him into me.
Mrs. Inglefield? Mrs. Blake, then?
Out.
I'll wait.
It'll be a long wait.
I've got plenty of time.
Can I do anything for you?
I called to see Mrs. Blake.
I'm afraid she's out.
So I understand. I propose to wait. Do you mind?
May I see your authority?
I don't follow.
Well, I suppose I can hardly argue with a policeman.
Can't what?
You are a detective, aren't you?
Are you expecting one?
Oh, no, I just thought you looked.
Thank you. No, I'm not a policeman.
I didn't mean to be rude. I'm so sorry Mother's out.
Mother?
Do you mind telling me who you are?
My name's Neil Inglefield.
Neil Inglefield? Oh, do come and sit down. Here, this is the most comfortable chair. Can't I get you some tea? Or would you like a drink? Let me get you another cushion.
Not as decrepit as all that. So you're the daughter, are you?
One of them. Surely you haven't forgotten Jay.
Jay?
I'm Molly.
And is this Jay like you?
Not a bit. She doesn't look like Mother either. I think she's got your mouth.
Now let's get this straight. Jay's got my mouth? Good Lord, are you suggesting I'm your father?
But you said you were Neil Inglefield.
So I am. Oh, I see. So Lorna's been handing out that sort of stuff to you, too.
Then,
Molly.
why have you come here? What are you to do with us?
I think you ought to know the truth.
My father married your grandmother as his second wife. Your mother came to live with us. She was only about 17 at the time, but she fell for my older brother Marcus and tried to break up his engagement.
Did she marry him?
No, she didn't.
Why are you telling me all this? You've no right to come here.
No right. My dear girl, your mother's been going round for years saying she's Mrs. Neil Inglefield, my wife, out of a sort of revenge or something, spreading a pack of fantastic lies about a heartless husband who walked out and left her to starve. Molly, listen. Don't cry. I'm sorry you've had to hear the truth like this. I know what a life you must have had. But you must see, I didn't come here to hurt you. Goodbye, Molly.
Aren't you going to wait for my mother?
No, not now. And don't tell her I came. Not yet.
All right.
Couldn't we see each other again sometime? Not here, I mean somewhere else. Or would you rather not?
I'd like to.
Fine. Goodbye, Molly. Can I come in?
Of course. Drink?
Yes, please. I need one.
Don't say Lorna put it across you.
In a way, yes.
You found her then?
I found where she lives. She's got a daughter.
Who inherits her mother's gift for narrative, I presume.
No, that's just it.
Did I ever hear you say that once you found her, nothing could save her from your just wrath?
I can't prosecute Lorna because I can't do a thing to hurt this girl.
And Lorna gets off on that?
I'm afraid she does.
Do you propose to see this girl again?
Not in her mother's house.
You're not suggesting that I should play fairy godmother by any chance?
That's a very good idea. Yes.
Oh, lovely darling meeting.
What a lovely dog.
Look what I've got.
Oh, if it isn't the spitting image of our wee Jock.
Ah, wee Jock. This is a Pekingese. You won't be allowed to keep him here, dear.
Oh, yes, I will. Dear Jay asked Mrs. Bind about it before she gave him to me.
Miss Blake gave him to you.
Shh.
Isn't he lovely? And I've always so longed for a doggy of my own.
Such a handsome present.
He is rather a pet.
My dear child, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Please, I wanted you to have him.
Bye. I really must go. I shall be late.
I understand. Hurry, dear.
Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Here. Catch.
Oh, Toby, it's sweet. But...
What's the matter? Don't you like it?
Yes, of course, but I...
Sorry. Never could choose the right thing. I looked at a cigarette case, but, well, this was something you could wear.
I wish I could. Oh, it's not that I don't like it. It's just that I simply can't take anything.
Sometimes you're ridiculous.
I'm not ridiculous. I'm a girl in your father's employment.
Don't be so old-fashioned. All right, Jay. Don't take it if you don't want to. One day, perhaps.
Oh, Toby, you're sweet.
Jay.
Your future mother-in-law. When do you propose to reveal your existence to her?
I don't know. Ironical, isn't it? Instead of shutting her up, I've got to ask her blessing.
Hello, darling.
Excuse me, sir. Your table's ready now.
Thanks, Watson. Oh, good heavens, I nearly forgot. Don't look at it now, my dear. It's just your Miss Gardner's pass to a new life.
Absurdly generous.
Well, I made it enough for Australia while I was about it.
Poor Guardy.
Lorna, you're a sentimental creature. I've been asking you for months to get rid of that woman. She's bad for your little girl. Could I have just a drop more drink? The child is much more impressionable than one thinks.
Yes, Helmer, but you do realize, don't you, that Molly is 20 next birthday?
20? Your little girl? You can hardly expect me to believe that.
Why not?
Well, in that absurd little bag you carry, you have a mirror, I suppose.
Helmer. Oh, by the way, Helmer, if you meet Molly, don't say anything about Guardy. She's so fond of her, and she doesn't know.
Lorna, would I do anything to upset you or yours?
Is everything all right, Sir Elmer?
Huh? Oh, yes. Excellent, thank you.
And now I have a little confession to make. Molly's an actress, a film actress. Do you mind very much?
Now, what I love about you is your simple innocence. Lorna, you'd make me the happiest man on earth if you do me the honor of becoming my wife.
Helena. Why, Helmer, what a surprise. Here is Molly. Darling, what a lovely surprise. We were just talking about you. This is Sir Helmer Barnard. He's been looking forward so much to meeting you.
How do you do?
Neil, of all people, if I'd been asked to name the one person I've been dying to see after all these years, I do believe you've forgotten who I am.
Oh, no, I haven't, Lorna.
Helmer, dear, I want you to meet Neil Inglefield. Neil, this is Sir Helmer Barnard. Now, Helmer, why don't you and Molly get to know each other a little better? Take her away and dance with her while Neil and I have a talk about old times. Shall we sit down?
Cigarette?
Thank you. By the way, it suddenly occurred to me. Where did you meet my daughter? And how long have you known her? Are you in love with her?
I know what you're thinking of me. Why doesn't he stop at his dreary old house down in the country?
Do you live in an old house in the country?
Pretty useful riding country, too. You should come down and sample it.
It's very kind of you, but I'm afraid I don't ride.
We'll soon put that right. Well, I must confess, I'd expected to provide you with a little white pony.
Little white pony? Have you known my mother long?
Long enough to know that she's the most adorable and attractive woman. So we're planning to become a great film star, are we?
One can't plan to be a great star, it isn't that. It's just that we want to stand on our own feet.
We?
Jay and I.
Well, very creditable. Who's Jay?
Helmer, you mustn't monopolize Molly. Now then, you two young things, run off and enjoy yourselves and don't bother about our sole fogies.
Thank you for our dance.
Not at all. I won't forget. No pony. Full-sized hunter. Well, nearly full-sized.
No doubt we shall be seeing each other again, Neil.
I'm sure we shall. Come along, Molly.
I think my new daughter and your daughter and I are going to get on famously.
Yes, Helmer, you were sweet with her. Shall we go now? I am a little tired, and what you asked me a little while ago, I would like...
Don't say any more now, dear. Louis, I'll follow you with your things. Got a pencil?
Oh, Lorna, I would just like to introduce you to a very great friend of mine. Surely you've heard me speak of Mrs. Lorna Blake. Lorna, this is Miss Dennison.
Mrs. Lorna Blake? Surely we've met before somewhere.
Have we? I'm so sorry. I'm so bad about faces.
Do you know, I never forget them. Or names.
How lucky you are. My memory is simply appalling. Do forgive me.
Them this time? Oh, the police. They want your mother.
I'm afraid my mother isn't down yet.
Better ask her to come down, miss.
Mother, you must come down. You're wanted.
This is your precious Neil's doing. Yes, officer?
I have a word with you, madam.
Yes?
I'm going into her.
Don't fuss, dear. She'll be all right. We'll get her through it somehow. Shall I go in?
Jay, they've got Jay.
Jay, what do we lose, got her?
Oh, I was a fool. I should have known. Here she would have been safe. My poor little darling.
What's happened?
They say she's been stealing money. Oh, it's horrible.
Mother, where is she?
She's been arrested. The police have got her at Southampton. She's coming up in court tomorrow.
I don't believe it. We must go to her. We must go at once.
No, that's just it. We can't.
But, Mother, of course we must. Poor Jay, she'll...
Molly, darling, listen. You're too inexperienced for this. It's no good rushing at things. You must give me time to think things over and to decide what's best. Now, you go along to your work, darling, and leave me to handle it.
But I'm not going to leave you to face this alone. Not when it's Jay. We'll both go down together at once.
It's quite impossible. You've got your work to do, and you can't let people down.
Let people down? What about Jay? Imagine her alone without anyone.
Molly, darling, listen. Sir Helmer and I are getting married tomorrow, and we're going abroad for a while. When we come back...
Abroad? Married? But you can't not now. You must put it off. Go to Sir Helmer. Tell him about Jay. He's kind. He can do things. He'll help us.
He doesn't even know that Jay exists.
I see. And you're afraid that if the truth came out now, he wouldn't marry you.
Dear child, is this the time to tell him I've got 2 daughters?
I think you'd better tell him you've got none.
Are you Jasmine Blake?
Yes.
Jasmine Blake, you are charged with forgery in that you did on the 26th day of June, 1947, make and forge a valuable security, namely a cheque in the name of Messrs. Carberry and Walker Limited to the value of £10, 5 shillings and 9 pence, contrary to Section 2 of the Forgery Act, 1913. And you are also charged with having willfully and with intent to defraud falsified an account belonging to Messrs. Carberry and Walker Limited in relation to an entry for the sum of £10, 5 shillings and 9 pence, contrary to Section 1 of the Falsification of Accounts Act.
If she wished to make a statement, she said, "Yes, please, I would like to." After being cautioned, she stated, "It is all right, really. I have done no wrong. I did not take the money for myself. It was for others."
The girl was unusually intelligent and did her work so conscientiously that I had, well, no hesitation in putting her in a position of responsibility.
She gave me things. She gave most of us things. We didn't think she bought them out of her wages, but I don't think we thought anything very much.
Such a dear little doggy. I was so pleased to have him. But of course, if I'd known there was going to be all this terrible trouble, I would never have accepted him.
Call Tobias Walker, please. Is this your cheque?
Yes.
Is this your signature to it?
No.
Then whose is it?
A copy, I suppose.
Who had access to this checkbook, other than yourself?
Miss Blake.
Miss Blake, have you anything to say before we commit you for trial? You are not obliged to say anything, unless you desire to do so.
Oh, yes, please. You all seem to be making the same mistake. I didn't take the money from anyone who would miss it. I didn't spend a penny of it on myself. It's not wrong, really, unless you're doing it for yourself. These people were unhappy, and I changed it, that's all. I'm glad I did. It was right. Mummy will tell you that. Mummy will explain everything. Where is she?
Bail is allowed in one surety of £100. Jasmine Blake, you are committed to stand your trial at the next assizes to be held at Salisbury on a date to be fixed.
I don't wish to blow my own trumpet, but I have had considerable experience in organizing this type of thing. If we have some nice stalls with nice things and some original sideshows with some nice original things to do, such as, oh, well, you know the sort of thing I mean. There's so much one can do in an English garden on a summer's day, if only the weather is nice.
Lady Clara, your car is here.
Oh, yes, I really must be going. Now, I think all that remains for me to do is to propose a vote of thanks to our chairman, Lady Barnard, for her kindness in putting her house at our disposal, and for a really magnificent tea, and I'm sure the fete will be a great success. I second that. Thank you, ladies. I think you've all been wonderful. In fact, we've covered so much ground that there's hardly anything left for me to do at all.
All over. Well, I hope the meeting went well.
Most successful. Lady Barnard is a wonderful acquisition. She has a perfect genius for raising money.
Goodbye.
Lady Barnard, no, Lady Barnard. Yes, milady, no, milady. Get this room cleared up at once.
Yes, my lady.
Tired?
A little.
Better go upstairs and rest till dinner. You mind it. We're dining at home tonight, aren't we? Alone.
Yes, Helmer. At home and alone. Draw the curtains.
Dear, dear, party a flop.
No, no. Another triumph. What have you got on?
Would you like it?
It's hardly you.
No, it's the new me.
Give me another cigarette.
What is the matter with you?
Nothing.
You know, you started all wrong in this place. Nothing but this faith, hope, and charity stuff ever since he got you down here.
Nobody got me here. I got myself, and that doesn't make it any better. Oh, what a sight.
Not heard from Molly, I suppose. Fancy that Miss Dennison turning up trumps and giving the girls a roof. Why not own up to Sir Helmer about Jay? Go on your knees and cry a bit. You know how.
Oh, for heaven's sake, we've got to wait and see how the trial goes, haven't we?
There you go, putting it off again. If you ask me, you'll never get the kids back now.
Won't I? I've only got to go and see them and... Yes. Yes, I think I will go to London tomorrow.
Come on, Jay, make an effort. Go up and put your things on.
No, you go off. I'll be all right.
Please, Jay, I'm not going without you.
Oh, leave me alone.
Molly, I think Neil's still waiting for you.
Neil, please come in.
No, you come out here.
I tried to get Jay to go out with us, but you won't come.
Good. Perhaps you'll come out with me alone for once.
Darling, we can't leave the whole burden on Shirley.
Burden is right.
Neil.
You go the wrong way about Jay. You treat her as a winged bird and Shirley as a museum specimen.
How would you handle the problem?
She isn't my problem. My problem is when are we going to get married?
I can't abandon Jay.
No, you'd rather abandon me.
Lady Barnard, ma'am.
Lady Barnard. How nice to see you again, Miss Dennison. Do forgive me for dropping in so late.
Yes, you're late. By a few weeks. Possibly too late, Lady Barnard.
Molly, darling. Jay, my own darling baby. How I wish I could take you home with me and nurse you. You've always said there's no one like Mummy when you're ill.
I'm not ill. You weren't there.
She thinks I've deserted her. She doesn't realize that you were a free agent, Miss Dennison. You were able to go to the rescue at Southampton.
You weren't there. If you'd cared, you would have come.
There's a lot in that, you know.
You seem to have succeeded pretty well in alienating my daughter's affections.
Please don't be melodramatic. If anyone's alienated your daughter's affections, you have.
Neil, thank heavens you're here. She's cruel. She said things to break my heart. She said I've lost my baby's love.
Quite frankly, I hope you have, my dear Lorna. What have you ever done for your baby, and for your other baby, if it comes to that? Year after year, you've made their life a misery. You've turned their whole childhood into a nightmare. You never once stopped to think what the permanent effect might be, did you? Well, there's the result. And you talk about broken hearts.
Why don't you say something, man?
I'd have kept it from you, sir, but I thought you ought to see it.
Oh.
You wanted me, Helmer?
Yes, my dear. Sit down. My darling, before I say another word, remember, I love you.
Thank you, Helmer.
If I appear stern and angry, it's because of the unspeakable reptile who wrote this letter.
Anonymous. Oh, how degrading.
Read it.
Dear sir, look, you ought to know this. Your wife that you think is so grand has a daughter going to prison. Embezzling. A thief is what decent people call it. Told you she had one daughter, didn't she? Had for a mug from the start you were.
Well, that'll do. Now, darling.
A local postmark. I don't see how anyone here could have known about Jay.
Jay? Lorna.
Yes, Helmer. It's quite true. I have got 2 daughters. Jay was arrested for forgery just after we met. I was afraid to tell you. I thought I might lose you.
Lorna, are you standing there telling me that this dirty libel is true?
Yes, quite true. I'm sorry. It was my fault. She was so young when she left home, and...
Never mind about that. We're not discussing how she came to be a thief. But the fact that this is the first I've heard of her very existence.
I know. I've deceived you.
You mean you have made a mug of me?
No, Helmer. But what was I to do? A woman with 2 daughters to support.
Woman? What sort of woman do you think you are? What kind of a mother? You've deceived me from the start. You've lied to me every minute since we met. You're no wife. You're no mother. You're a cheat. Go away. I never want to see you again. Get out, I say.
Well, it's goodbye, Susan. Since you won't come with me. Alfred's silly enough to want to marry me. Anyway, it's time I settled down. I hope you'll be very happy. And Susan, if you're not happy with Alfred, just write him an anonymous letter.
Very sorry, sir.
That's all right, Susan. You knew about Lady Barner's younger daughter all the time, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
When does this case come on?
Thursday, Salisbury.
Thank you, Susan. Jay, aren't you?
Is my mother here? Lady Barnard?
Your mother's left here. I don't know where she's gone.
What am I going to do? Where shall I go?
I think you'd better come inside. So you see, Jay, nobody who's any good ever runs away. Now think of your kind friend, Miss Dennison, who gave you a home, pledged her word that you'd be at the trial, and backed it with £100. A whole £100. Unless you go back and give yourself up, she'll lose all that money.
I'm frightened.
You're a brave girl, aren't you?
You feeling better, love?
Yes, thank you, Susan.
We'll take care of you. Won't we, sir?
Naturally. Yes, yes, of course, Susan. Well, made up your mind? What are you going to do?
Go back to Miss Dennison, I think.
And then?
Go to Salisbury and give myself up.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Only, could you please lend me my fare?
Well, you don't have to worry any more about those things. I'm going to have a nice long chat to your sister, Molly, and we'll get to the bottom of all this. Alfred, get me Miss Dennison on the line, will you?
What the prosecution witnesses have had to say, and I think there can be no doubt in your mind as to the seriousness of the charges you've been called upon to answer. Now, I propose to put to you immediately a very frank but simple question, and I want you to think very carefully before you answer. Don't forget, I'm here to help you. I'm your counsel for the defense. And you've nothing at all to be frightened of.
Oh, I'm not at all frightened of you. In fact, I'm not frightened of anything or anybody in this court. Anymore.
Yes, well, I'm glad to hear it. But it might be as well, perhaps, if you treated your present situation with a little less equanimity.
The accused is very young, Mr. Carlton. We mustn't rely too much in a case like this on matters of form and procedure. A little humanity, huh?
Your tolerance is much appreciated, my lord. Miss Blake, you were trying to bring happiness into the lives of your fellow creatures. And it was your intention simply to borrow the money and...
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Wait for my question, please.
But everyone knows I took the money. Why do we have to waste time going over all this again?
If we are wasting time, Miss Blake, it is because we're concerned with your interests. Mr. Carlton, am I to understand that the accused wishes to change her plea to guilty?
Well, my lord, with respect...
Please, may I help?
Mr. Carlton, what is the meaning of this interruption?
My lord, some indulgence is called for. This is the girl's mother, Lady Barnard, if your lordship will allow me. My lord, Lady Barnard thinks that if she were permitted to question her daughter, your lordship and the jury would be assisted by a responsiveness from the prisoner, which I must confess I find difficulty in eliciting. But I'm sure your lordship will feel as I do. That a proposal so contrary to all...
Contrary or not contrary, Mr. Carlton, what I want to get at in this case, as in every other case of the same kind, is why seemingly decent and well-brought-up children do wicked and criminal things. You don't object, Miss Benson?
No, my lord.
Lady Barnard, you may ask your daughter what you want.
Your lordship is too good.
Thank you, my lord. I know I can help you.
If you don't, I'm afraid I shall have to stop you. Stand over there where I can see you both.
Jay, darling, supposing we were at home, you and I'd come up to say goodnight to you, and you were worried about something and wanted to tell me.
Oh, yes, Mother, that's just it. I do want to tell you.
We all know what you did, but not why you did it.
Exactly.
You knew, didn't you, that there was such a thing as honesty and one doesn't steal money?
Yes, I knew it was dishonest. But I thought it made a difference if it was for other people.
Do you still think that, Jay?
No. I'm ashamed now.
Darling, a lot of people would say that was because you'd been found out and were afraid of being punished.
But, Mother, I'm not afraid of being punished. Honestly,
It's all right, darling. Honestly is a good word. If you mean it.
Honestly, I didn't use one penny of it on myself. And it was so lovely to see the children when I gave them presents. And Anne and the girls in the office and poor old Miss Muntz, who did so want something to love. And if I hadn't taken stolen the money, none of the people I gave things to would have had them. They still wouldn't have them.
But you silly little goose. If it were as easy as that to put the whole world right, do you suppose the whole world would have waited for Jasmine Blake to come and do it?
No, I see that now. Toby said I was ridiculous always to want to give. I was worse. I've been wicked.
Darling, excuses don't rarely excuse anything. But sometimes they do help to explain. Have you any excuse for what you've done?
I did get so tired of always having to say thank you.
You know, don't you, dear, that I am rarely to blame for your being here.
Oh, no, why you?
She's never going to tell the truth.
You remember how we were left alone, you and Molly and I, when you were a baby? We had very little money and nobody to turn to for help. We didn't mind being poor. We were happy then, weren't we?
Yes.
And then you got ill. It was difficult on my small income to give you all the special little things that you needed to help pull you through. Still, we would have managed. And then that dreadful old Baroness woman started to interfere. Don't you remember?
Yes, I think I remember Molly telling me.
And when I stood up to her, she told all her useless friends what a bad mother I was. And then they started to take us up, as they put it. In the end, it got so bad that we tried to escape them by moving house. Several times we moved, but always they found out where we were.
Lorna, how dare you? These outrageous lies, this ingratitude. These people were your benefactors. You taught Jay to be a wrongdoer.
Heavens, Nate, what is this new interruption? Come forward, sir. Who are you, sir?
Sir Halmer Barnes, my lord.
Lady Barnard's husband.
Yes, my lord. And the prisoner's stepfather.
I see. And what have you got to say to explain this behavior?
Only this, my lord. That this child has been shamefully treated. And that if, as a result of further evidence, the court decides to exercise clemency, I wish to take her into my own home and be responsible for her.
My lord, I have something further to say.
Anything further you have to say will be from the witness box on oath. One moment. Where are you going?
To the witness box, my lord.
Do you wish to call this witness?
Yes, my lord.
Then the accused can stand down and return to the dock.
Goodbye, darling. You'll be all right now.
Goodbye, Mommy.
Lady Barnard, I must tell you that you are not bound to say anything that might incriminate you. Do you understand?
I understand, my lord.
Take the Bible in your right hand and swear the oath.
I swear by Almighty God that the evidence I shall give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.